guys, and today we're going to be talking about how to create a timer in Unity. Now, it's a little difficult. It's going to be in seconds, of course. Sorry if I cough a little during the recording. I have a bit of a sore throat. Well, recovering from a sore throat, so ignore the timer 1, timer 2. Timer 2 was simply it was a test. Anyways, let's start by creating a game object. I'm gonna call this game object timer 3. Now, of course, you're gonna name it timer, just like I did with this one. I'm just naming it timer 3. But we're starting from scratch. So now we just type in we add a sorry. Let's first reset the transform. Do timer 3. You guys again would just do timer for your script name. Create the script and now pull it up. Now this is my timer class, my timer method. What I'm gonna want to do is open this one up, that way it's new and fresh. And if you're wondering, how do I delete these comments? Well, look into my channel and you'll see that I probably have a tutorial on it already. Not 100% sure if it will be up yet, but by the time you're watching it, but it should. Anyways, once you've done that, you're just going to want to delete the two using tags at the top, the ones that usually spawn in, unless you've watched my tutorial to fix this. However, let's get started. So we've got our timer class. We're just going to want to delete our comments at the top, which I've already done because it's part of my template. And we're just going to want to create some variables. So, start us off. Let's start with a boolean. So we'll do private bool, call this active, private int, call this target time, we'll do a public private float current time, really messing up my spawn, and we'll do a private bool target time reached. And so we've got four, sorry, I dropped something. We've got four variables, very simple variables, and you can change this to public, private, to your liking, depending on what you're going to be using it for. However, me personally, I'm going to be using some getters and setters. The only thing that I really need is this one, which will be public. And I think that's all for now, so let's get started by setting these variables, initializing them. So let's set active to false. So we're just initializing it. Target time reached to false, and current time equals to 0. Sorry if I'm coughing again. Recovering from a sore throat. So now in the update method, we are just going to want to type our timer, or code our timer. So let's do if active. If it's not active, then we're going to return. And by the way, I created this all on my own in case you're wondering. Sure, there's better systems out there, but this one's pretty simple on my standards and fairly easy to use once it's set up. Again, I'm so sorry. I have a cough today. So now we'll do if current time is smaller than the target time, then we are simply going to do current time plus equals to 1 times time dot delta time. Now this time dot delta time will convert it into seconds. I actually just stumbled across this, multiplied it, and it turned it into seconds by luck. Anyways, now we're just going to do else statement. So if it's not smaller, then we'll do target time reached equal to true. And now we are pretty much done. That's the timer all set up, if you're wondering. However, we need a way to access these timers variables, so we're just going to create a few more methods. One setter and two methods to start, reset, sorry, three methods to start, reset, and stop. So let's start with the start method, so we'll do public void start timer, right? And we'll just do that. Active equals true. Public void stop timer. And we'll set active equal to false. Then we'll do a public void reset timer set, and when we reset, let's just do current time equals to 0, active equals to false, target time reached equals to false. And we also want to set our, we would, no, sorry, we wouldn't set, reset the target time reached. Wait, would we? I mean target time. I mean, no, we wouldn't. So, no. I mean, you can if you want to, that's up to you. So, now we can do public void set target time int target, or I guess we would make this time, but you know what, I'm just gonna put it to target. Now, if you're not familiar with what this is a setter. This is simply used to set variables from outside other classes. So, what we're going to want to do is do target time equals to target. And now we are all done. Let's quickly go over what we've just done. We've created 4 variables. Active, so active simply determines whether the timer is active, whether it's being played right now, if it's counting down, or if it's paused. Then we have our integer, which is a target time. So this is simply like if we set our target time to 5 seconds, then it would count to 5 seconds and then it would stop. Current time simply controls how much time has passed since we started the timer. And then target time reached is a boolean telling us that, hey, we've reached our target time. Let's say we set the timer for 5 minutes and our current time has reached 5 minutes, so 5 minutes have passed, and it will say target time reached equals to true. Now let's see what this looks like in action. So I'm actually going to save this, and I'm going to go over here and delete my file right here, because I have already done this with my timer class right here. Sorry, that was a really bad cough. Anyways, so actually before we do that, let's look at how we use this. So I'm going to go over to my player behavior class. Sorry, code's a bit messy here. Just to give you an example on how you're going to access this. Well, first off, we're just going to want to create our timer. Oh, I'm not in the right place. Level manager. We're going to want to create our timer. Actually, no. Let's do this in the player manager. Sorry. It's my bad. I'm such a retard. Sorry, score manager. Sorry, I'm not thinking straight. It's 11 p.m. and I'm kind of sick. So we've got our timer. We're creating a private timer. Now this timer class, this timer variable type or object type is literally just this class, and so we're setting this new reference to our timer, and we're calling it timer with a lowercase t. And then every time when we start our game or my game, it's gonna set the timer to it's gonna find a game object with the script timer. This is the script timer. Oh, and by the way, this code is the exact code that we just wrote. So it's gonna look for an object that has timer attached to it. Now, if you look inside my hierarchy, you can see I have the script timer attached to my timer object. So it's gonna refer to that object, and it's gonna take that component's timer, and then it's gonna set the timer object to this specific timer script. And then when we start the scoring system, it's gonna set this target time to 5. Now 5 is referring to 5 seconds. So if I were to set this to 1, the timer would go for 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. So set it for 5 seconds. So what I'm doing is I'm resetting the timer, making sure it's all set to 0. That way we haven't started like in the middle of another timer that had been set. So timer.reset timer, so this makes sure all of the values are set to 0. Then we're setting the target time to 5 seconds, and then we are starting the timer. Of course, when we check the timer, sorry, another cough. Of course, when we check the timer, which is going every tick, we're going to do timer.target time reached. So if timer.target time reached, what does this mean? Well, it's meaning it's saying if our timer is done counting and it's reached its limit, its timer limit, then it's going to execute any of this code below. In this case, we are resetting the timer and starting it once again, keeping our previous target time. And that is why I did not want to reset the target time in my reset timer, in case we want to reuse it. Now, let's quickly go over what is stop timer before we do compared to reset timer. Stop timer simply means we're pausing. Reset timer means we are resetting all of the values except for the target time. So we've reset the timer, and yeah. Reset the timer, started it again. Now, let's see what this looks like in action. Now, we've got an error below. This just happens randomly. It doesn't affect anything. Now, if you followed along with my rambling explanation, you really spent a lot of time trying to figure it out, because I know I rambled. I'm aware of that. I'm an idiot, but whatever. You will know that this timer goes for 5 seconds. And then it does something, and after those 5 seconds, it restarts that timer, and it counts for 5 seconds again. And if you actually looked at my code while I was explaining it, you'll see that it increments my score. So let's see what it looks like in action. You can see my score. It incremented by 1 every 5 seconds. That's how you create a timer, and be sure to stick by with my channel if you want to learn how to change your template for whenever you create a new script. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped you. Have a nice day, or night, or morning. I'm Cringe. Bye. Fuck, I didn't press stop.